now, right now. Right 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 now, right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about the absolute worst case scenario on Bitcoin, how that may play out, and where Bitcoin would go if we were to see Bitcoin go through a flash crash that would drop it dramatically. Today, we're going to talk about what that would look like and how Bitcoin would respond and how we ought to respond to a market that enters into one of the biggest drops that we've seen in over 2 years. Is it going to happen? If it does, what do we do? We will discuss all of that and more in today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live. So glad that you're all here. Today, we are joined by Joe Bollier and Paul Torelli. You are awesome. Cynthia Dizon, Sweet Benabear 12, Philly Skills 1428, Coin Operator, Brandon Sandoval, Andrea Davis, Mr. Check 1984, Bren X Motorsports, Chasse, Valentin Zargoza said, "What's up, Jeff?" from Kansas City, Missouri. Shout out to Kansas City, Missouri. Still not sure why they didn't build that in Kansas, but okay. Paul Parker's in chat, Angel's in chat, Ivan's in chat, Maori's in chat, Net Games in chat, and so many more. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm very excited for today's stream, guys, because we're going to be talking about the worst case scenario for Bitcoin. For all of the people out there that call me a permabull, I'm obviously not, because I am capable of coming up with a pretty bearish scenario on Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you why it actually might play out. Stay tuned, because we're going to talk about where Bitcoin may drop to. And if Bitcoin does drop dramatically, then what is that going to look like for Bitcoin? We shall see. All right, let's jump on over to CoinMarketCap and get started. As you can see, right now, Bitcoin is trading at $62,900. It is down 10% in the last 7 days. Ethereum is trading just above $3,000. It is down 13.5% in the last 7 days. Solana down 22% in the last 7 days. XRP down 18% in the last 7 days. Cardano down 23% in the last 7 days. These are great buying opportunities. Can we say it again? These are great buying opportunities. Very, very excited to share these buying opportunities with you, because at the end of the day, these buying opportunities are the place that you make money. A lot of people think you make money because crypto, or because Bitcoin, or because altcoin. No, you don't make money because X. You make money because of you. You make money because of the actions that you choose or the actions that you do not choose. You either succeed or fail almost entirely, especially in the first world, based on your own actions. I read a quote yesterday, which absolutely resonated with me, by Jim Rohn. It said, "Life is all about pain. And in life, you get to always choose between two kinds of pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret." And it's my job. It's so funny that I read that, because I thought, that's almost my entire job description, is to help people shift from living a life of pain, of regret, to living a life of pain, of discipline. And when cryptocurrency goes into a corrective movement, this is a great time to remind ourselves of that fact, because it is painful when Bitcoin drops. It is painful when the cryptocurrencies and the altcoins drop. What is more painful is not doing something about it that generates wealth for you. Do you see where I'm going with this? It is absolutely imperative that we are disciplined about our approach to buying cryptocurrency. And one of the ways that we can be disciplined about our approach to buying and investing in the cryptocurrency market, on the wrong screen, let me change that. One of the ways that we can do that is by taking advantage of buying opportunities when they present themselves. Because it's not every day that Bitcoin goes into a major corrective movement and could drop even farther. Bitcoin has dropped, as of yesterday, we dropped almost 20%. Originally, we predicted a 20% drop. That's exactly what occurred. Today, we're going through a bit of a bounce, but there's still quite a lot more bearishness that can come. In fact, there's two different major levels that we could see Bitcoin drop down toward. We could see Bitcoin drop all the way down here to about $56,000. We could also see it drop down as low as $47,000, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But I also have good news, and the good news is Bitcoin could also bounce with the halving tomorrow. We're not exactly sure what's going to happen with the halving. All we know is that it's coming in tomorrow on Friday. We are looking at it happening right around midnight. And so we'll see what happens when it occurs. Here's how I want to frame this. Bitcoin is either going to go up or go down. Duh. A baboon with a degree in underwater basket weaving could have told you that. What we need to address is whether or not we are going to be prepared for both outcomes. And that's why we're going to be talking about the worst case scenario today, because most of you are already prepared for the best case scenario. Most of you are already prepared to say, yeah, if it goes up, great. Awesome. That's great. That's wonderful. What you may not be as prepared for is what happens if it drops. Because we don't have any historical data to tell us what happens when Bitcoin goes through a halving event after it has hit all-time high. We've always had the halving and then hit all-time high. The good news is the data that we do have, I just read this in a report this morning, of the last 3 halvings, on average, 6 months after the halving, Bitcoin has rallied 368%. Those halving events that are calculated in that data never included 11 ETFs being approved in the United States stock market on the same day. That's never happened before, and that's extremely bullish. So I have every reason to believe that Bitcoin's going to rally a couple 100% over the course of the next 6 months. What I'm not as sure about is what Bitcoin's going to do in the first week. The good news is that since we are able to be confident that a major rally will come within the next 6 months, then that means that the lower we drop, the better the entry. So let's talk about both. Let's talk about the bullish case and the bearish case and prepare ourselves for both scenarios. As you guys know, there are 6 laws of money. The 5th law of money is we save and we invest to build wealth. If we save money and invest money to build wealth, guess what happens? You generally have wealth. And the way you do that is by being prepared for whatever the market may throw at you. I cannot tell you how many people made millions and millions and millions of dollars because they had low debt load to no debt at all and a boatload of cash when 2008 hit. When 2008 hit, they were sitting on cash and they bought real estate. They bought stocks. They bought whatever they could. That's the position I want you to be in. If you've been following the principles that we've been teaching, then you probably have a cash account. You probably have some cash that you're able to deploy into the cryptocurrency market. So let's talk about bullish case and bearish case. Let's prepare for both. Colin McDonald in chat. Shout out to you, my friend. All right. First case scenario. Bitcoin rallies. This is absolutely a possibility. Obviously, the data shows that Bitcoin has gone into a rally almost immediately following every halving in the past. In the 2016 halving, these are the only 2 halvings I'm really going to look at. The 2012 halving was, the market was so young, it just didn't really matter all that much. We only really have 2 halvings that the data actually is really extremely, the market was mature enough for it to really matter. When we saw the halving event, Bitcoin would go through a small drop, about 16%. But then, as I mentioned earlier, 6 months later, it had rallied 74%. When you go on another year post-halving, Bitcoin will have rallied about 300%. Similarly, in the most recent halving that happened in 2012, in 2020, not 2012. In 2020, we traded sideways for about 60 days after the halving. It was boring. Market didn't do a whole lot. But 6 months later, we saw that Bitcoin was at 65% higher than where the halving had occurred. And a year later, Bitcoin was trading a full, and this is not a joke, this is serious, almost 600% higher than where it was. I've got every reason to believe that Bitcoin will go through a major rally in the next year. So that means that there's a very strong possibility that Bitcoin could actually find itself in a rally here in the next couple of days. And the reason for that is because we've got to think like the bears. The bears today are bearish because of the uncertainty around the halving. They don't know what's going to happen. They're selling off. They're saying, man, there's uncertainty coming into the space. I just made 200%. I bought Bitcoin at 25. It's up at 71, made almost 200%. I'm going to sell some. And that's what they're doing. And they're taking profits. But now moving into the halving, the sentiment, the narrative shifts. The narrative shifts from, oh my gosh, there's a halving coming. It's the end of an era. What do? We sell our market. To good news. The halving's occurring. Supply shock's happening at the same time the demand shock is occurring. Demand's through the roof. Supply is going to be cut in half. New supply, rather, is going to be cut in half. What happens from there? Well, I'll tell you what happens from there. The market invariably is going to rally. And so people start thinking, well, if it's going to rally, eventually, it's almost like baked into the narrative of the market that when a halving occurs, Bitcoin rallies. It just is. It's one of those things. It's almost like a law of gravity. Halving occurs, Bitcoin rallies. Just the way it works. It's the way it's always worked. So when people have that mentality of it's basically guaranteed returns, I'm going to buy. So the real question actually doesn't even come down to whether or not Bitcoin's going to rally or crash following the halving. It's more of when or if Bitcoin will crash. If Bitcoin crashes, I'm going to show you that narrative. But right now, I want to start off by showing you what happens if it goes up. What happens if it goes up is that you probably want to be taking advantage of these prices. This is a pretty solid entry on Bitcoin. If we go lower, then it's a good entry down there too. I never want you to deploy all of your cash. I want you to hold on to some of it in case the market goes lower. And again, I'm not talking about buying into retirement accounts. Retirement accounts and long-term investment like that, I don't want you holding a cash position. But when you're investing for wealth generation and you're being entrepreneurial in the space, I want you to hold a cash account. And this is a good place to be putting some cash on top of your already dollar cost averaging. This is a good time to put cash into the market as well as the dollar cost averaging that you're doing. It's okay to say, all right, I've got 10% of the portfolio in cash. I'm going to deploy 1% of the 10%. So I have 9 left. I have 10% of the 10%. So, a tenth of my cash into the market. That's great. I think that's wonderful. It's not a bad time to deploy some capital into the market, into whatever respective coins you are purchasing. Hold on to a lot of the cash. Don't deploy even most of it right now because we're about to get to a bearish argument that could occur. And if we drop down there, I want you to have capital to deploy also and to lower that average cost basis and to be consistently and continually dollar cost averaging pretty much forever. Great. All right. Somebody said, don't knock underwater basket weaving. The agnostic amphibian. Well, I mean, I guess if you're an amphibian, then you do need to have underwater baskets. So I apologize for offending your kind. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for offending the amphibians of the world. I'm sure there's a trade school down there for that. You probably make as much money as a plumber does up here on dry land. Anyway, so if Bitcoin goes into a rally, here's what we do. We take advantage of these prices right now, which you're basically going to do anyway. And then from there, if Bitcoin rallies, then great. You just continue dollar cost averaging. You continue DCAing as Bitcoin rallies, and we continue right along with the plan. This is why I'm more interested in talking about the bearish argument, because if the bearish argument does occur, that's where you actually have to start kind of playing with the market and doing things. All right. The bearish argument. There's a few different levels that it's all good. Okay, thank goodness I have forgiveness from the amphibians. If Bitcoin does start to correct here, there's a few different levels to take a peek at. Because people could freak out around the halving, could see a drop. It's happened before. It's not the first time. Bitcoin has dropped 16% post-halving. If we did that, that would drop us down to $52,000. That's a $10,000 drop. That'd freak us out in the short term, but in the long run, it's just a blip. It's not a big deal. So Bitcoin could drop down here to this uptrending level of support. This is the first level to look at. This uptrending level of support has been in play for the last year and a half on Bitcoin. As you can see right in here, it would make a lot of sense for Bitcoin to drop down to this level. It'd make a whole lot of sense for Bitcoin to drop down to that level because we have had the market defined by it for such a long time. It would make a absolute massive amount of sense if we were to see Bitcoin drop down to that level. So $53,000, I'm sorry, $56,000, $56,500 is a level that we could see. And we've been in a pretty strong corrective movement over the last several weeks. So that's something that we could see. From there, though, there's another chart to show you. And I'll be showing this more in an afternoon video today. That Bitcoin could potentially drop down even lower than that. And there's actually an argument to be made for why Bitcoin may do this. As you can see on this chart right here, you can see that there are a few different chart formations that are pertinent here. The bear market went through a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott wave correction. And when we went through the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott wave correction, for anybody who's been through the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, and we have learned about Elliott waves and about support and resistance and all of that, and the importance of patterns and trends and everything, you'll realize that we have Elliott wave corrections here. So Elliott wave is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, and 5 are impulse waves. 2 and 4 are corrective waves. So the even numbers are corrective waves. The odd numbers are the impulse waves. So the impulse wave means that it's going in the same direction as the primary trend. So the 1 wave, the 3 wave, and the 5 wave were corrective movements, and they were all about 50% in size. 50%. This one was 63%, I think. Yeah, 63%. This one was about 48% or about 40%. They average out to about 50%. But then there's 2 corrective waves in there as well, and those corrective waves lead up to these peaks where we say 2 and 4. It's very kind of beautiful how markets almost look like the natural world, because when you have a mountain, you've got these little successor peaks like this, and that's exactly what you see in the market. So these little peaks right here where it says 2 and 4, those were very important levels. The 4 peak was the level that we started using to build strong market structure that we bounced off of and moved into this big rally on. Right, so we saw Bitcoin bounce from the 4 level, which was $25,236. We tested it as resistance, bounced on it as support twice, and then we bounced and rallied and got away from it. In this case, we've rallied well beyond the 2 peak, which is sitting right here at $47,853. Bitcoin, if it were to follow the same trend that it did in 2023, could potentially fall back down to $47,853 and then bounce and rally from there. It would also make sense in some regard because the 0.786 level on Fibonacci retracement currently sits at about $49,500, which gives us this little green zone right here of support. If Bitcoin has to go into its worst case scenario, that is where it would drop to right around $47 or $48 to $50,000. It's very possible that Bitcoin breaks that long-term uptrending level of support that I've shown you. Sits right here. It's very possible that Bitcoin breaks this uptrending level of support, which is currently sitting around $55,000, and drops down to $48. If that happens, that would be a grand total of a 35% corrective movement on Bitcoin, and that would be in alignment with the kind of corrections that we typically see during bull markets. During the 2016-17 bull market, which was basically the textbook bull market, we saw corrective movements of 40% time and time again as Bitcoin slowly but surely inched its way up towards $20,000 for the first time. Now, that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen this time. I am not inclined to say that it is most likely that Bitcoin drops down to $47,800. What I'm most inclined to say right now is actually that Bitcoin will drop down to about $60,000 like we've done, and either bounce there or bounce on this uptrending level of support, which is sitting at $56,000. The worst case scenario right now is that Bitcoin drops down to about 48 to 50, and that's an excellent buying opportunity. The possibility that I think is a lot more likely, the much more likely possibility, is that Bitcoin drops down to about 56 and bounces from there, because that would still be a 23% drop. My original prediction 3 days before this drop began, which was right back over here, was that Bitcoin would spend, I said in the next 2 to 6 weeks, we will see a drop of between 15 and 25%. That was the exact prediction. And that prediction was made, I believe, on Monday, March the 11th. So that was right here. Monday, March the 11th. It was great timing. We got it. We don't always get it that good. We got it really good that time. I said within the next 2 to 6 weeks, we will begin. So it actually came a little bit sooner than we predicted. But I said within the next 2 to 6 weeks, we will see a drop of between 15 and 25%. And we ended up seeing Bitcoin, by the end of that week, begin a drop that would drop us 16%. In total now, we've dropped 18.8%. If we were to drop down to this uptrending level of support, that would be the fulfillment of the original bearish price target that I gave of up to a 25% correction. So I think most likely Bitcoin will stay above $56,000, and there will be a lot of volatility in the next 24 hours. But, and here's the kicker, I think in the next week or two, Bitcoin will be on its way back up, and we'll be back at all-time high in the next month or two. So I got you in here by telling you that there's a bad scenario, and that's true. There's a very bearish scenario. The good news is it's not going to last a long time, and the good news is it would be a great buying opportunity, and the good news is if we apply our principles of investment and wealth generation, we will be able to make a lot of money in this drop. All right, let's go ahead and read some chat, but before we do, I do want to let you know that today's stream is brought to you in part by NordVPN. So if you have not protected yourself while browsing online and protected your portfolio, then you need to go to nordvpn.com/Jeb, and the reason that you need to do that is because what is the point of building a massive portfolio worth hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars just to have somebody hack you and steal it from you. NordVPN is going to help keep you safe and secure by keeping you invisible while you browse online. So make sure to sign up for nordvpn.com/Jeb. It's not just for gamers and streamers and everybody trying to do things on. No, it is a program that is going to help you stay safe and secure. And that security architecture is a very important component of your success in crypto. Good deal. Let's read some chat. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Happy Weed Day on Saturday. Yeah. 420 is coming. Everybody's devastated that the halving is not going to be on 420. Although on some time zones it actually will be, right? Because it's going to be so late in the day. It's going to be at like 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern time. So some time zones, I think it actually will be. So that's interesting. Van Nugian said, is this a buying opportunity? Yes. I believe so. I believe so. Now, one thing I also want to mention here is the U.S. stock market, because Bitcoin is very closely tied in with U.S. stocks, and they are still in kind of plummet phase right now. They're just kind of nosediving. The reason that this is so significant is because when the stock market is down 5%, typically everything else moves down quite a considerable amount. So when the stock market is down 5%, that does make it harder for Bitcoin to go through a rally. And that is part of the thing that has caused Bitcoin to go into a corrective movement, is that U.S. stocks have been down. That being said, U.S. stocks are not going to be down forever, and they are eventually going to continue moving to the upside, as they always do. The stock market has averaged almost 12% return since since its inception, and in the last 30 years, the S&P 500 has grown in value by an order of magnitude. It's an 11x in 30 years. That's a great return on investment. So when the U.S. stock market inevitably continues to the upside, we're going to be fine. So nothing to worry about there. The good news is that we're going to continue going parabolic, and if you want to make some money in the stock market, not a bad time to start opening an IRA, a Roth IRA, getting involved in the stock market. It's a good idea to max out your Roth IRAs every year. If you want to have a retirement, here's how you do it. Max out a Roth IRA for you and your spouse every year, starting from, wherever you are, ideally as soon as possible. Max it out. It's $13,000 a year. Most people can, if they really fought and scratched, they would probably be able to max that out. If you, say, we're going to cut a few subscriptions, throw $5 extra a month into it. Makes a difference, guys. Makes a difference. If you max out a Roth IRA and you hold it and you leave it in the market for 30 years, on average, you will have about a $5 million retirement account if you start at the age of 25. Please do that. The reason I'm talking about the stock market today, though, is because it's on a correction, and that's part of the reason that Bitcoin is going through a correction. But keep in mind, the stocks are not going to continue to correct. They are eventually going to start going up again. And when they do, that's going to be very bullish for Bitcoin. Don't forget that Bitcoin and the U.S. stocks are highly correlated. They always have been, always will be. No more dry powder left for you. Dino Dragon said, I'm so sorry for that. I hope that you decide to keep some in the future. But we'll see what happens. Tim France says, I'll be in prison for 420. What'd you do, Tim? What happened? What? I kind of need... I would like some more details, please. Guarantee ROI, you won. Yep. I'm not sure what you're talking about with guarantee ROI, but there are some places where it's not guaranteed you'll ROI, but it's quite likely. All right. Wire pumping last time, buy cheap before the halving. Yes. I definitely think it's a good idea to be loading up bags right now, guys. There's going to be a major rally. That being said, I don't think I'd be buying mining stocks. A lot of people keep asking me about that. I would avoid that. The miners are going to get their revenue really hit hard. I'm not sure why you would buy a company when its revenue is about to be cut by over 30% in a day, irrevocably, and it cannot recover. Like that's a difficult that's a difficult investment proposition. Okay. Why does that YouTube algorithm not catch the AI send us your money scams? I don't know, but they definitely need to change it. It's a problem. It is stupid, and it's a problem. The YouTube artificial intelligence is one of the most powerful artificial intelligences on planet freaking Earth. It's capable of stopping that. I've learned a lot from you. Thanks for all the advice over the years. Of course, a new day with Aaron. Hopefully, it has been helpful. All right. Supply shock incoming for Bitcoin. Do your own research. Please do. Absolutely, yes. So for anybody who doesn't understand the way the halving works, I will explain it in brief. Every 4 years, approximately, the Bitcoin market goes through what's known as a halving. And the halving occurs when the block reward on Bitcoin is cut in half. The way that Bitcoin works is it works as a blockchain. So you have a chain of blocks, and one block connects to the next block, which connects to the next block, connects to the next block, and those blocks are containers. When those blocks are created, they have to go through something called a mining process. And basically the way a mining process works is through something called a cryptographic hashing function, and the Bitcoin network generates the answer to the cryptographic hashing function, and you have to randomly guess and check an answer to the cryptographic hashing function. And eventually, after approximately 10 minutes, because the Bitcoin algorithm self-regulates so that it stays at 10 minutes through the difficulty adjustment, every 10 minutes roughly, somebody in the world guesses, oh, the answer to this problem is 746 quintillion, 478 septillion. You know, it's a very big number, but 172 billion, 547 million, 274,524. They guess the right number. They're not people. They're technically you could mine it in your brain. You just would never get anywhere because you could actually use your brain as a miner. It'd be really dumb, but you could. But the miners randomly guess and check, and eventually one of them comes up with a number that matches the cryptographic hash that is waiting on the ascribed to the last block on the blockchain. And then once you've answered that, once you get the right answer and you connect the two, then you, that miner, are given the authorization to generate a block. In the block, you've got a couple megabytes of space that you can put data for different Bitcoin transactions, and you make money in two different ways. One, you make money from the block reward. Two, you make money from the fees that are ascribed to the transactions. The fees are set up as an auction-based system, so whenever somebody sends a transaction, they can decide how much of a fee they're going to put on the transaction. If they put $100 on the transaction, obviously the miner is going to put that transaction in the block because they'll make the $100, and most transactions only carry a $5 to $10 fee. If you put no fee in the block, in the transaction, then you're probably not ever going to get your transaction picked, and it's going to stay stuck in the mempool forever, and you're never going to get the Bitcoin sent anywhere. So that's a very dangerous thing to do. It's not just stupid, it's also dangerous, because then your transaction can get locked up in limbo, in unconfirmed transaction space. You don't want that. That'd be bad. That being said, that's not the only way the miners make their money. They also make money from the block reward. Every time you mine a block, you get a block reward, and currently, for the next day and a half, it's 6.25 Bitcoin, which of course is a lot of money. 6.25 BTC to USD is what, $300,000? $398,000 every 10 minutes in block reward is being doled out. So when you multiply 398,000 times 6 times 24, then there is approximately $57 million of block rewards being put out and given out to miners every single day that the miners are competing for. This is the primary chunk of their revenue, although they're also making money from the transaction fees, but significantly more from the block reward. The issue is tomorrow, that number gets cut in half, down to $28,690,000 every single day, because instead of the block reward being 6.25, it goes down to 3.125. It's cut in half, which means the global revenue of Bitcoin mining, global, this cannot be changed. This is set in the code of Bitcoin, the most immutable network on planet Earth ever created in the history of mankind. It will not change. The daily revenue drops from 57 million down to 26.5 million, $28.5 million. And that means that the revenue across the board for the miners just got cut almost in half. That's not quite cut in half because the fees will stay the same. If anything, they'll actually probably go up a little bit. So that'll adjust somewhat. But on average, the miners' revenue across the board is going to go down by about 40% tomorrow. So I'm not sure why you'd buy a mining stock when the revenue is about to crash. What you might do is you might let them crash and then buy them on the dip, because they'll adjust and end up becoming profitable once again. But at the end of the day, right now, before the halving, probably not the best time to buy a mining stock. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. Hopefully that helps you guys to understand the halving and how it works and why it works. Shadrach Frost said, folks, please hit that like button now. It only takes a second and truly supports this channel. Let's show Jev some love and respect for all he brings to us every day. Thanks, friends. Thank you so much, Shadrach Frost, for your continued love and support in our chat. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you. All right. I do also want to let you guys know that today's stream is brought to you in part by Crypto.com. Guys, if you don't know who Crypto.com is, you've probably been living under a rock, but you've probably wondered why you ought to sign up for Crypto.com. If you don't already, you probably already have a Crypto.com account, but if you don't, let me give you a few reasons why you want to sign up. Number one, it has over 80 million users. 80 million users are not all wrong. It's a great exchange that has been mass adopted for a very good reason. And the reason that I want you guys to adopt Crypto.com as your exchange is because it is an excellent place to set up your buying and your selling on cryptocurrency, especially your dollar cost averaging. If you get the app, you can go right into the app and you can start purchasing Bitcoin and cryptocurrency with some of the most comprehensive and most intricate and with the most tools available dollar cost averaging suite that you will find anywhere. It is very easy to dollar cost average on Crypto.com with the recurring buys, as you can see right here. There's a lot of different ways that you can grow your portfolio, and the biggest one that I'm the most excited about are the recurring buys. So make sure to go to the link in the description box down below and sign up for Crypto.com. All right. Yep. Good deal. Hi from Paris. What's your take on Chainlink? I like Chainlink a lot. I think Chainlink is a great protocol. I think that Chainlink is a protocol that is very much doing a great job of bringing interoperability and infrastructure to the cryptocurrency space that is much needed. If you don't know what Chainlink does, it essentially brings off-chain data on-chain in a fully trustworthy manner. They facilitated by providing the prices of different coins over $10 trillion in volume. So very, very, very powerful protocol. We definitely hold quite a bit of Chainlink in our portfolio, and I think it is one of those projects that is not just out there in limbo of this might work, this might not work. It's already working and has been working for a while. It's integral to the way most exchanges work. It has been adopted. It is firmly pavement under the road of an industry here in the cryptocurrency space, and that gives it quite a lot of value. John Doe said that was a nice halving explanation. Thank you. David said, thanks, dude. Absolutely. I love answering your questions. It is my favorite part of the entire stream. We used to have questions as like a 2-minute part of the stream. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I want interacting with you guys to be the primary component of the stream. It makes for great content. It's so entertaining. It gives you guys a voice, and it helps us to share the platform with you guys so that we can hear what you guys are thinking and get you guys involved. You Are Awesome said, I'm trading on Blowfin right now while listening to Jeb. Awesome. You are awesome. If you guys are interested, you can sign up for Blowfin with the link in the description box down below. Great exchange to go do some trading on desktop. Great exchange. All right. Let's see. Lot of meme coins in chat. You know, there are so many coins. Here come. Okay. Got the rant box. I'm going to rant about something. I am so absolutely tired of people thinking that they are going to get rich in the cryptocurrency space because they bought a certain altcoin, because they bought something with Inu on the end of it, or they bought some kind of moon coin, or they have gone all out. Guys, there are people that are doing stupid things and regretting it. One of the biggest regrets in your life that you will ever have is being dumb with your money. I have heard so many stories, some from you guys, some from other places, of people that have taken out second mortgages on their home, that have invested in the cryptocurrency market with debt. It's so funny. I do financial coaching calls, and I had a financial coaching call with somebody on Monday, and he told me, he's like, yeah, I know what you were going to say, because he had a $4,000 personal loan for buying crypto. I'm making an example out of you, although it's completely anonymous. I'll never share personal information unless you guys come on stream and tell me, as far as ascribing it to a name. But we'll just call the person, you know, Billy Bob. That's not his name at all. But Billy Bob here had a cryptocurrency portfolio, about 100K. You know, it was a good portfolio. I was proud of him. It was in euros. It was like 80K. And had a $4,000 loan that he took out to buy the crypto. Like, man, what are you doing? Don't go into debt to buy crypto. And I said, does that weigh in your conscience? He said, not really. I said, okay, I kind of understand that. It's only $4,000. You got an over $100,000 net worth. I get it. No other debt at all. Everything else paid for in cash. Generally, the guy's pretty great with money. Very, very, very intelligent fella. Very smart guy. And I said, well, it might not weigh on you right now. But in the same way that if you make one mistake in a year, it might not weigh on you that much because it was only one mistake and it's kind of easy to pass over. But let's just imagine if you made that same mistake every single day for a year. You'd be pulling your freaking hair out, wouldn't you? If you take this train of thought and you extrapolate it into the future, then what ends up happening is that you end up messing a lot of things up very quickly. And so I kind of showed him that. He's like, oh, you're right. I said, all right, well, can you pay that off in the next 3 months without having to liquidate the cryptocurrency that you bought with a loan? It's like, yeah. And I said, all right, do it. Because it's not something you want to do to invest on debt. Now, that was a small example that was relatively benign. It was not putting him in any immediate danger. But I have met people, I've run into people that have put themselves into great danger and grave danger for the sake of investment. It's not how you want to do it. You have to master where you are first. You have to master where you are first. And then you have to grow. I was done with my money and lost $2,000. Rugs everywhere. Be careful, guys. It was an expensive lesson. Guys, I have paid millions of dollars in lessons over my career. I have... I probably made, as far as income through our businesses and everything, probably made about $5 million in the last 7 years. Maybe not that, maybe about 4. I'd have to go back and look at all the returns and everything, but it's been several $1 million. And I've made a lot of mistakes with money, guys. I tell you what, I have been dumb with money. I've also been really smart with money quite a few times. But I tell you what, I have been stupid. I have been so stupid. You ever run into somebody and you're like, man, they're so wise, but their life's a mess? I'm not saying that's us. We've got a lot of great things going on. Our life's not a mess. But you ever run into somebody that's like, their life's a mess, but I tell you what, they got some wisdom. How'd that work out? It's because most of their wisdom is from telling you, hey, don't do what I did. You know those people? You know that person. You've been that person. The person that says, that you were like, man, that guy's got so much wisdom. Why is his life a train wreck? Because he doesn't live his own wisdom. The only reason he's wise is because he knows what not to do. And, you know, there's always going to be a component of that. I know a lot of things what not to do with money. I also know a lot of things what to do with money because I've learned to do the opposite of the stupid stuff I've done. And one of the stupid things you can do is to be out of control of your money. We've got to be sovereign over our finances, guys. We have to be the ones that are in control. We have to tell the money where to go, and we have to know where it is going. It is going to grow and not get stolen. We have to be sovereign over the things that we're supposed to be sovereign over. I tell my wife all the time and to try and help her process through things because I always tell her, I'm like, sweetheart, we've got to control the controllables and be patient with the uncontrollables. I can control whether or not I work my tail off and get the work that we need to get done so that when the baby comes, everything's set up. We've got a lot of all the stuff set up so that we got all the baby clothes. We just got done putting away a bunch of clothes in the attic, right? We've got a bunch of things that we can control. We can control how disciplined we are. We can control that as much as we want to. We want to sit around and chat for 2 hours. We can control that the Bible says that the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury, which means talking a bunch leads to being poor. So as much as we want to talk, we need to make sure that while we're talking, we're working. If it's in the middle of the day, we're going to get some work done. We're going to control the controllables. Unfortunately, we can't control that much that my wife has hyperemesis, which means she's always losing her lunch. You know, we can't control that. It's not up to her. It's something, it's genetic. It's something that we can't control. And we have to do our best to try and be patient in the things that we can't control. And when we control the controllables and when we're patient in the uncontrollables, that is when we are able to bring our life under control. And so that's why I want you guys to control the controllables with your investments. You can control whether you have done the research on the market that you're investing in. You can control whether or not you are out of debt. You can control the timeline that will be on. You can control your income. You can control how organized you are in your finances and in your possessions and in your relationships. You cannot control what the market does. You can predict it, and you can control the fact that you did your research and you came up with a plan, but you can't control if a meteor hits Times Square and obliterates the stock market and the whole world goes back 150 years into the past. You can't control that. But we control the controllables, and generally, most things in life that we need to have under control are under control. We control the controllables and we're patient in the uncontrollables. And we do it all with a sense of meekness. I wear it as a compliment when somebody calls me a control freak. They don't do it very often because I talk about how much I like being called that all the time. But I can definitely imagine that certain people if they saw the way I live my life and the way my wife and I live our lives and the way that we try and run things, they would call us control freaks. And that doesn't mean that we've got everything under control, but by golly, we want it to. We've got extremely high world-class standards. You know what I call somebody that most people would call a control freak? I call that person somebody with high standards. If I am supposed to be the one in control of it, I will be. I am supposed to be in control of my 3-year-old, and if he wants to throw something at me, I don't know what you think you're doing. You can go right back to your room, dude. You can pick that up and you can clean up your room while you're at it. You're not going to do that. I am the one calling the shots about your behavior, and you're not going to act that way. With the finances, I am in control of you. You're not going to go off to 13 different subscriptions. You're not going to go off to a Ponzi scheme because I didn't do my research. You're going to go exactly where I tell you to do, period. It's not up for debate. Because I am going to be the one that's in control of it. And I'm going to love my finance. I'm going to love my children. I'm going to love them through that. But part of love is controlling the things that you're supposed to be in control of. And being patient in the things you can't control. All right. People are trying to type... Oh, people are trying to type crypto.com and they're not able to... People are trying to type crypto.com and they're not able to because it's not showing up. Yeah, let's see if it shows up when I type it because I'm the actual... Yep, I'm able to do it. It lets me do it because it's my channel. That makes sense. Yeah, it must be, by default, it probably stops you from posting links. I don't know. I don't have any idea where to post that. You just type, like, crypto, DOT.com or something. Crypto.com. Crypto.com. All right. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it out here in just a little bit, but we're going to read some more chat first. Before we do any of that, I want to let you guys know about Vault. Guys, I'm really excited to have Vault on as a sponsor. I am so excited to have them on as a sponsor because this is a great product. We've done business with Uphold before. They're a great exchange. They've always treated us very, very well. The thing that I'm excited about with Uphold's new product, Vault, is that it makes self-custody of crypto more secure, less risky, and it gives you the ability to access markets so that you can actually trade from your cold storage. That is an incredible combination of features. You've always been able to put money on an exchange. There's like a trifecta here. You've always been able to put money on an exchange and trade it instantly, but it wasn't custodied. On the other hand, you've always been able to hold money or crypto assets in a cold storage wallet, but you weren't very easily anyway able to instantly trade it. You kind of could some places, but it's always been really clunky. It's never really been a good feature. It's never been exactly tied into a full-blown cryptocurrency exchange. And the third component there is that self-custody has always been, frankly, very concerning because when you self-custody an asset, what happens if you lose the keys? You lost the crypto for good. The only way to get to it is with the private keys. So crypto.com has, sorry, not crypto.com, Uphold has solved all three of those problems all at once. You are able to access an exchange while having the crypto in 100% self-custody. The exchange doesn't have any custody over it. You have 100% self-custody. And if you lose a key, they've got your back because they've got a secure key replacement service to replace the key. The way it works is you have two keys. If you lose one of them, Uphold can replace the one key, but Uphold only has one key that can regenerate both of these keys to co-sign the transaction, but since they only have one of them, they are never able to actually access your private keys. But they are able to regenerate a key for you if you lost it. How amazing is that? Is that not great? That is absolutely cool. So make sure to go to the link in the description box down below, sign up for Uphold and Vault, and get started self-custodying your Bitcoin and XRP today. Let's read a little bit more chat, and then we're going to wrap it out. Control is a form of discipline to learn and grow from. Absolutely. God's first commandment when he created the world was to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And right after that, almost as if he was saying, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth so that you can do this, was to subdue the earth and have dominion over the fish of the sea and the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. My friend, if you're a rancher and you got 132 head of cattle, it is your job to be in control of where those cattle are at all times and their health and how they are doing, how they are eating, when they get slaughtered and sent to market. It is your job to be in control of those cattle. Not to be cruel to them. That same Bible that tells us to be in control of the fish of the sea and the fowl of the air and of every living thing that moves upon the earth also says that it's a wicked thing to abuse your beast, which means your animal. It's a horrible, wicked thing to abuse your horse or your dog. It's not about abuse. It's about stewardship. It's about controlling for the sake of growth. He wanted us to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, which in and of itself is controlling something. You're building a family. You're getting control over yourself. Your wife and your husband, or they're getting control over themselves, and you're controlling your children. You're growing. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Replenish the earth means to grow, right? And subdue the earth and have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, every living thing that moveth upon the earth. We are called to get control over our own selves, first and foremost, our own families. Our walk with God, our things, and grow it for the glory of God. That is the original command in Scripture. It's not the most important command, but it is the first command. And that's not an accident. That is intentional. It shows up in the very first chapter of the Holy Spirit-breathed inerrant Word of God. And we ought to take that as something very, very serious. We ought to consider that very seriously. If you are a Christian, let me state this another way. If you are a Christian, you have a moral obligation to live and to be growing in financial sovereignty. I don't know how much more clear I can make it that we have an obligation. We were commanded to do this. This is Holy Spirit-breathed Scripture speaking. Get control over the earth and subdue, have dominion over, and grow. These are the words that are used in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. We are commanded. It is not a request. It is a command. It is a matter of morality. I'm not saying that you're in sin because your office is a mess. I am saying that the heart behind your office never getting cleaned up is a problem, and it ought to change. It's a lack of wisdom. So we need to be moving in the direction of sovereignty. It is absolutely critical to having a successful and fruitful life where we will be told at the end of the race, well done, my good and faithful servant. All right, let's read some chat, and then we are going to wrap it out. Control is a form of discipline to learn and grow from. Exactly. Yep. I'm trying, but Shiba Inu hasn't pumped to a penny yet. I hope you guys are not trying to get rich in meme coins any more than it's going to be a successful strategy to get rich playing scratch-offs. It can happen, but unfortunately, even if you do make $1 million, you've wealth gained by vanity will soon be diminished, is what the Bible says. What is vanity? Vanity, it can mean a lot of different things, but wealth gained in, it basically is one of the opposites of wisdom. Foolishness is an opposite of wisdom. Sin is an opposite of wisdom. There's a lot of things that are opposed to wisdom. Wisdom is on the one hand, and a lot of things are on the other hand. Vanity is one of the things that is the opposite of wisdom. Vanity is not being in control of things, not having the character to steward things. Wealth gained by vanity will soon be diminished because if you got rich quick because you got lucky, you didn't have to learn the character traits that it takes to maintain that wealth. Anybody that is extremely rich or has made a lot of money in life will tell you that it is actually significantly more important to learn how to keep the money and how to master the money than it is to grow the money, because it is the mastery over the money and over a business and over a family and over yourself primarily that allows you to grow in the first place. So I hope that you guys take that and you realize that that's a longer road, but it's a road that actually works. Basically every time, proportional to the amount of pain and suffering you go through in your life, it works just about every single time. All right, guys. Hope you're enjoying today's stream. We got a lot to cover over the course of the next several weeks, guys. I'm very excited because my wife and I are going to be going on a trip this weekend. Haven't been able to do that in about a year. Having 2 small kids and one on the way is kind of hard to get away for a weekend, but we're going to do that, and we really appreciate that opportunity. So really looking forward to that. We'll be seeing you guys obviously tomorrow and on Monday, but going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go on a helicopter ride. The Hybrid family said the man who became a millionaire with Dogecoin lost it all just as quick. Yep. Listen, guys, get rich the right way. You want to know why? Here's the best reason to get rich the white way. Get rich the white way. No. Here's the best reason to get rich the right way. Peter Parker picked a peck of pickled peppers. And Peter Parker picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many pickled peppers did Peter Parker pick? Okay, I can still talk quickly. Okay. How do we get rich the right way? We do it by building character and by mastering financial sovereignty. If we do those things, that is where we have the ability to succeed. When you make a lot of money, what is the statistic? Like 80 or 90% of people that win over $1 million in the lottery will lose almost all of it within 5 years. If you're getting rich on meme coins, you're going to be a part of that statistic. You're going to be the same statistic. Build wealth the right way. Build wealth And maybe you include buying a meme coin here and there. But build wealth by building wisdom. The same thing I've been preaching for years. Stop doing stupid stuff with money, because that's what broke people do. Start doing smart and wise things with money, because that's what wealthy people do. When you do rich people stuff, you end up being rich. And I'm not talking about what the culture teaches you, all rich people are snobs. No, they're not. They're snobbish poor people too. They're snobbish rich people. Being snobbish doesn't have anything to do with your income bracket. It has to do with a character flaw in your heart. And to be honest with you, if you're a jerk, a lot of people aren't going to want to do business with you. It's kind of hard to build wealth in a lot of realms that way. Not saying there aren't snobby rich people. There are. But if you want to build wealth, do wealthy people things. If you want to have a healthy body, do healthy people things. If you want to be fat, do fat people stuff. If you want to be broke, do broke people stuff. You know what broke people do? They don't have a budget. They don't have a plan for their money. They don't invest. They don't choose financial sovereignty. They are out of control of everything. They're not generous. Some broke people are generous, actually. Some broke people, the only one that they've really figured out is the generosity, and that's why they're broke. So I'll give you that. But a lot of broke people are broke. Not all broke people. There's people in slavery right now. It's not their fault, right? But a lot of broke people, especially in the United States, are broke not because of their starting point, because their starting point was years ago. They are still broke because of their own actions, because they have refused, or because they haven't been taught, to take control over their life and put it on a course for growth. And they don't realize that the pain of the discipline is going to bear much more fruit than the pain of the regret. Because to take it all full circle to what we started the stream with, that Jim Rohn quote where he said, life is about pain. You always get to choose between two kinds, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. There's one very important difference between the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. One leads to joy and happiness, and the other doesn't. One pain bears good fruit, and one pain bears bad fruit. This is the core of delayed gratification. The hybrid family said, sold! Your auctioneer skills are still intact. Oh my goodness. Nice for Sarah, kids, and you, Jeb. Enjoy making memories together. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come hang out at my off-grid cabin anytime you want, Jeb. Love it, Crypto Mini Bike. It's awesome. Somebody asked if that's a WWE championship belt behind me. It is. It's actually the Influencer Awards. This was... I've got a funny story that I cannot tell on camera about this thing, but this is... I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if the lighting's going to really work. Here we go. Oh my gosh, I got to clean this thing off. This is the Influencer Awards for Crypto Jeb. Essentially, it's the Blockchain Influencer Awards for 2021. You can see right there. And I was awarded the best technical analyst in the industry 2 years in a row. So that's pretty cool. That was a high honor. This is my shelf of honors over here. We got the 100K subscriber play button. We got the coffee sign up there, which got to move since I stopped drinking coffee. But we've got our plaque that Teachable sent us and everything. From Sydney, you speak faster than us Aussies. No, I'm just kidding. That's it. That's Irish. You really deserve it. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I love technical analysis. I love reading markets. But the thing I love even more than reading markets is knowledge, right? To quote the great philosopher, whatever his name is. What's the guy's name? Oh, I forgot his name. You guys know who I'm talking about. The guy that leases everything and acts rich. I'm just firing shots at everybody today. The thing I love more than technical analysis is growing in and teaching wisdom. What I've learned in my 4 years in crypto is the easiest way to make money is to DCA the bear market and be patient. Love it. Lying in my pocket, how much money have you made in crypto? You don't have to tell me. But how much money have you made? I have a feeling you're very wealthy, if that's what you've learned. I have a feeling you were very wealthy. I have a feeling you've made a few $100,000 at least. Verhoofty Floofan said, yep, discipline is pain followed by gratitude. Regret is pain followed by resentment. That's right. Hey, Jeb, keep up the Christian talk. Money isn't everything. Absolutely, it's not everything. Not even close. It's definitely not everything. And it is very easy to idolize it if you're not careful. But when you have money, it's also very easy to be generous with it. So just like anything in life, money inherently is not sinful. It is not inherently wrong. It is inherently a tool. The same way that a gun or a knife or a pepper spray or anything like that is not inherently going to hurt somebody. It is the person that is holding it that is going to hurt somebody. Money is not inherently going to hurt somebody just because it is. There's nothing moral about money. It's just money. It has the ability to be used of the devil or used of God, depending on the person who is holding it and who they obey. Obey Christ, and you being rich will be a great thing for the kingdom. Can we say that without half of the church trying to drown us? That's what the Bible teaches, right? There's two different sides here. There's a side that, oh, well, it's better to be poor because money brings temptation. Well, in that case, it's better to not do just about anything in life, right? On the other hand, there's another side that thinks, oh, it's good to just get money and to step on people, and that you're just going to say, oh, I believe in God, so I'm going to get rich. That doesn't work that way. It's when we're wise, and if we faithfully steward little, then we will be able to faithfully steward much, and God, most likely, will bless us with more. And he will bless us with more by allowing us to continue doing what we're doing, which is make an income, grow our skills, invest it, be generous with it, and follow the 6 laws of money. All right. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's stream. It's definitely been a lot of fun being here, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys tomorrow. Please choose wisdom. Please choose sovereignty. Please choose to be the one that is in control of your life, because if you do, your life will be better, period. It will be. That's not a guess. That is a promise. I promise you that your life will be better if you choose to be the one that's in control of it, and you do it God's way. Now, if you bring it under control and you do stupid things with it, then to be honest with you, the chaos may have been better. But if you choose to bring it under control with meekness, and you submit to God's teaching on money and to the teaching of wise people that have come before you on money, like myself and other people that have made a lot of money and have made dumb mistakes and are teaching you not to do the same thing and done wise things and are teaching you to do the same, if you do that, your life will be good. If you don't, it'll suck. That's why I tell my son all the time. I'm like, buddy, just because you're 3 doesn't mean I'm not going to be frank with you. You keep this up, it's going to suck. He did something the other day once, but now he's a great kid. Malachi, he's a really, really great kid. So compassionate, such a great heart. But he did something that he wasn't supposed to, and I said, buddy, you realize if I did that at 23, you're 3. If I did that at 23, the police would come and throw me in jail. He said, oh, really? I said, yeah. So get it out of your system now, so you don't wind up in jail in 20 years, dude. You keep this up, your life's gonna suck. You're not gonna have a good life if you keep doing this one thing. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not trying to embarrass the kid, because he repented and he's like, I'm going to do better. And he's like all about, yeah, I'm doing this now. And he's completely just changed, and he's such a great kid. I'm bragging on him, not putting him down, because he completely changed direction and like, yeah, I'm going to do he walked around, he's like, I'm going to obey. I'm going to obey. And I'm so proud of my son, not putting him down. But when we were in the whole trying to lead him to repentance process, we were like, buddy, your life will suck if you keep this up. Like, you're not going to have friends. This is a bad idea. And so I'll tell you the same thing on money that I tell my son on behavior, right? And that I'll eventually teach him on money too. If you do certain things, your life's going to suck. If you do certain things, your life's probably going to be better. So choose the right things to do, even though it's more painful in the short term. All right, guys, I am rambling. Time to put that rant box back under my desk and leave it for tomorrow. We're going to wrap it out. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And please always remember that all success in life begins with a personal and daily walk with the Lord Jesus Christ. And as I said, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good